So the game I'm playing today is called Caught in the Middle. I've got something very small and also incredibly weird to show you guys today. So the best way that I can describe this game is that it's effectively a very unorthodox take on Breakout. You've got two paddles that are placed on the top and bottom of the screen respectively, and all of the bricks that you need to break are located directly in the middle of the paddles. Of course, just like the original Breakout, you have a ball that you can hit around with the paddles, and you need to bounce the ball back and forth in between the two paddles in order to break the bricks. The only way that you can fail this game is if you let one of the bricks hit the left side of the screen. The bricks are constantly moving, they enter from the right side of the screen and they exit on the left side. However, if one of the bricks manages to touch the left side of the screen, then it'll explode and that's an instant game over. As far as I'm aware, this game does not have a lives counter. The only time that you ever die in this game is when you let one of the bricks leave the screen. And that's about all there is to it. So, this game was developed by ABA Games, also known as Kenta Cho. Yes indeed, it's that time of the year again. The yearly tradition in which I cover at least one of Kenta Cho's games every year. This was one of the many browser-based games that he developed and released throughout 2014. And this was originally going to be a double feature video, but the only problem is that the other game that I wanted to showcase in this video is no longer available to play. And that's mostly due to the fact that the other game was built on Flash, and as many of you are probably aware by now, Flash is dead, and many of the major modern-day internet browsers no longer support it. Unfortunately, that means out of the 50 games that Kenta Cho released in 2014, at least half of them are no longer playable. Many of the games he released during that period were actually built on Flash. The other half were made in HTML5, which is still supported by most modern-day internet browsers, and that's part of the reason why I'm able to play Caught in the Middle, because Caught in the Middle was made in HTML5. So what I've chosen to do instead is that I'm just gonna make a standalone video on Caught in the Middle. I did say in a previous video that I wanted to try and get some shorter videos out, so this is gonna be yet another short video. So frick it, let's unpause this game and just play it right away. So yeah, we're just gonna get straight to playing this here. So the only controls that you really have in this game is that you can use the mouse to move around. That's how you control all of the paddles. So what exactly is happening here? So you're moving all of these balls around. Yeah, by the way, these transparent bricks right here, or like these hollow bricks, I guess, these give you additional balls. So they're kind of like multi-balls, which I'm pretty sure Breakout had as well, or maybe even Arkanoid. I don't know if that's, if this is like based on Breakout or Arkanoid, because I mean, Arkanoid itself is basically a Breakout clone. But yeah, you have two different bricks here. You have the regular bricks, and then you have these like hollowed out bricks that give you more balls. So, you don't lose lives if you lose all your balls, but what will happen is that all of these bricks will suddenly shift to the left. And as I mentioned before, you don't want the bricks to hit the left side of the screen, because they are constantly scrolling. If one of them hits the left side of the screen, then you will fail instantly. And as far as I know, this game does not have an ending, and I mean most of the browser-based games that Kenta Cho worked on around this time don't have definitive endings. A lot of the games that he made during 2014 were mostly like experimental projects more than they were like fully fledged games, you know, just tiny experiments in game design. And admittedly, I was kind of struggling to find some other like browser-based games from Kenta Cho that I was even like remotely interested in. Because I did mention before that I wanted this to be a double feature, but I mean, the other game that I wanted to show off was made in Flash, and because Flash has basically been completely killed off by Adobe now, it's no longer possible to play that. And all of the other HTML5 based games that I could still play from him, I don't know, they didn't really pique my interest all too much. I felt like a lot of them were kind of just boring to play. But I felt like this one was interesting enough. It's a very bizarre take on Breakout. And I have played some other like Breakout style games on my channel in the past, and this is probably the weirdest one I've played so far. So yeah, you can bounce the balls back every time the paddle hits it. So one feature, or like one little game mechanic here that is kind of interesting, is that whenever you hit the ball with the paddle, the game will give you about a split second to alter the ball's trajectory. So the direction that the ball flies in doesn't actually depend on where exactly the ball struck your paddle. Like, the angle doesn't actually matter at all, because what'll happen is that you'll be able to deflect the ball with the paddle, of course, but then the game will give you a split second to adjust the trajectory of all of the balls that you're hitting right here. And you can see their exact trajectory as well, like those little dots that you see that are coming out of the balls right there, that is the path that they will follow. So you can move your mouse around in order to adjust the trajectory of the balls. So if you want to bounce them right back into the bricks over here, then you can do that by using your mouse. Having more balls on the screen is definitely useful because it allows you to break all of the bricks a lot more quickly, and if you manage to break a large number of bricks in rapid succession, then you will earn more points from that, because as you can see, you do have a bit of a multiplier going. So in order to get massive scores in this game, you want to create combos for absolute sure. Those are very useful indeed. And also, like most of Kentacho's games, there are no handcrafted levels in Caught in the Middle. All of the levels that you're seeing here are procedurally generated, and technically there's only one level in this game. This game does not include multiple levels whatsoever. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire game though. I mean, I do kind of like this mechanic right here where you're allowed to like redirect the ball into like a different direction whenever you hit it with the paddle. I actually really like that mechanic. That's a very neat take on Breakout, in my opinion, and I don't really, I haven't really seen any other, like, developer try to do this with like a Breakout style clone before, so it's a pretty unique mechanic in my opinion. It can definitely be difficult to keep track of where exactly all the balls are going though when there are like multiple balls on screen, because then you need to keep track of all of their trajectories and they're all going to be like launching off at the same time. Bouncing 2 balls back and forth is not really that difficult, but then when you have like 10 of them on screen, then yeah, it becomes pretty challenging at that point. What I do like about this game as well is that the music in this game is dynamic. It does seem to react to your gameplay in real time, so whenever you're hitting any of the bricks on screen, they're essentially producing music notes. And as with most of Kentacho's browser-based games, Caught in the Middle is endless. The game only ends when you finally get a game over. And to be honest, I'm really not doing the best job right now because I am not getting like a very good score multiplier going on right here. Also, I think the multiplier depends on how many balls you have on the screen. So I think the more balls you have, the bigger score you're gonna get, because you're gonna receive even more points from that. So your multiplier depends on the amount of balls that are on screen. Because as you can see, when you only have 1 ball on screen, you only earn 1 point from each brick that you break, which is not exactly ideal in a score attack game. But yeah, that's the only real objective, though. I mean, this would definitely be useful right here. There you go. You get it like caught in a crevice right there, and then you can just have it bounce around all the little bricks right here. Yep, just have it bounce around all of the bricks, and then they all get destroyed essentially. Here, like I wanna like shoot it into here. There we go. Then it'll just bounce off of all of them, and it just destroys all of them, and you get a massive combo going. It's effectively what you want to do. It's just like, you know, regular Breakout as well. Not that much different from regular Breakout. So yeah, this game doesn't end until one of the bricks ends up hitting the side of the screen over here, and then after that you will just end up failing the entire game. I mean, admittedly, the game can feel a little too easy at times, especially when you have multiple balls on screen. But I guess the challenge here comes from having to keep track of every single ball on the screen. Because, I mean, when you do have like 10 or 15 balls on the screen, it can be very difficult to keep track of all of them. Oftentimes, you just end up, only being able to pay attention on a select few balls, and then all the other ones just end up like careening off the screen, because you just can't keep track of all of them at once, man. Especially when they're all hitting the paddles at different times, which means they're all gonna fly off at completely different intervals as well. So you gotta like juggle them. You gotta try really hard to juggle all of these balls around, which is a lot easier said than done. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else to say about this. I mean, it's basically Kentacho's take on the tried and true formula that is Breakout. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and I do like this mechanic where you can, alter the ball's trajectory at the last second whenever it bounces off the paddle. Like, it gives you a split second to adjust its trajectory if you want to make it go off in another. Okay, well, See, that's what I mean. You want to make it go off in another direction, but that's what I was talking about right there. See, I didn't take notice of that brick right there, and it ended up hitting the left side of the screen, and I ended up failing as a result. But 4,077, not a bad score. I think I was able to get like 9,600 off screen before. Yeah, you definitely gotta pay attention to the environment as well. You can't let any brick fly off the screen. You gotta destroy pretty much everything that you see on the screen here, otherwise you are going to fail. So, yeah, you gotta erase everything, basically. Leave no brick behind, otherwise you're gonna die. You're gonna get absolutely reamed. Yeah, so you only have one life, essentially, and then when you lose that life, it is just game over. That's just it. That's the end of your journey right there. That's the end of your story. Yeah, so I mean, it's fun to play for a few minutes, but it's definitely nowhere near as complex or involved as some of Kentacho's other games, like, you know, some of the shoot-em-ups that he's made. And I would really love to play more, you know, shoot-em-ups from Kentacho, but the only problem is that I've pretty much played all of them already, because I've already played Parsec 47, and Taurus Trooper, and R-Rootage, and Titanion, and Tamiki Fighters, and all of those games. Like, I've done videos on those games already, and as much as I would love to do maybe, like, revisit videos on them to try and do them better, or, like, try to give them the justice that I think they rightfully deserve, considering how much better I've gotten at making videos since those times, I just don't really see the point, honestly. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just waiting for the time when Kentacho does finally release a brand new shoot-em-up, whenever that may be, because I don't think he's released one in quite a long time. I can dream, I guess, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this, honestly. Yeah, if you just want like a very bizarre take on Breakout, then maybe play this for a few minutes, but I mean, at the end of the day, I would still recommend checking out some of Kentacho's more involved games, like some of the games that he's put a lot more work into, like Parsec 47 or Taurus Trooper. But I still wanted to play this today because I just thought it was a neat little take on the Breakout formula. I always like playing these Breakout style games every now and again. And this is actually not the only one that I plan on playing sometime soon, because there is actually another game that I picked up on Steam recently that is also like a very strange take on the Breakout formula that I would also like to cover at some point in the future. The near future, mind you. Not like, you know, I say that I want to cover it soon, but then I end up taking like 5 years to actually play it. No. I'm gonna play it possibly this month, if I can. I'm not gonna give away the name of that game just yet, though. You'll see it when it happens, if it ever does. I don't want to make any promises, of course, but it'll arrive sooner than later. I also want to mention, too, that I don't believe the game is actually supposed to be running this slowly. You'll notice that it is kind of moving pretty slowly, and it's kind of allowing you to take your sweet-ass time trying to adjust the trajectory of all your balls here. But to tell you the truth, I don't believe the game is actually supposed to run this slowly. I think it is supposed to run much faster than what it's doing right now. And I think the issue here is that I'm actually playing this through OBS's built-in browser, because if you didn't already know, OBS does have a built-in browser functionality, which is what I typically use to play all of the browser-based games, because you can't download a standalone version of Caught in the Middle that you can just play on your desktop. I don't believe it's possible to do that for any of Kentacho's browser-based games, and I can't figure out for the life of me how to get display capture to work on OBS Studio, so I'm just using like OBS's built-in browser, which does allow me to load pretty much any website that I want. And thankfully, I am able to play Caught in the Middle through OBS's built-in browser, but the only problem is that it seems to run a lot slower in OBS's built-in browser than it does in something like Google Chrome or Firefox, or dare I say, Microsoft Edge. So, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I believe the game is actually supposed to run a lot faster than this, and it's supposed to be a lot more difficult. So, I don't really know what's going on with that. Yeah, here we go. I mean, yeah, it does kind of make the game way too easy. I would love to show you what the game looks like at its actual speed, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that, unfortunately. That would probably require me to use, like, Legacy OBS, which I frankly don't want to use anymore because it's a piece of crap. Also, my phone is ringing. Hang on. Thankfully, I can pause this. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, as I was saying, I don't believe the game is actually supposed to run this slow. I think it might be something to do with OBS's built-in browser functionality that's causing it to run this slowly. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you want the best experience, just, you know, play it in an actual browser. Because OBS seems to do some weird stuff when you're trying to play it through its, like, built-in browser, so I don't really know what could be going on with that, but other than that, guys, I think this is actually where I'm going to end the video because, yeah, there's nothing more to say about this. Yeah, if you lose all your balls, if all the balls fly off the screen, then what will happen is that all the bricks will shift to the left very quickly. They get a lot closer to the edge of the screen. And that's basically the way that the game punishes you for messing up. Yeah, not much else to say about this other than that. I think I may actually fail this on purpose, just because I don't really feel like playing this anymore. Yeah, there you go, guys. Just a short video on a very weird Breakout clone that I found on Kentacho's website. I always like playing some of Kentacho's games from time to time. Again, I like limiting it to just once a year, so that my channel doesn't become, like, overloaded with his games. Because I do like to have a lot of variety on the channel, and I think you guys would get sick and tired of it pretty quickly if I tried covering all of Kentacho's games all at once, like all of his remaining games. I won't be able to cover his remaining games now, due to the fact that Flash doesn't exist anymore. Or at the very least, it's been deprecated, and none of the major internet browsers support it. And part of the reason why I wanted to play something short and sweet today is also due to the fact that it's been quite a while since I recorded a video again, and I do apologize for that. It's been like a week and a half since People Playground went live. So whenever I go on extended breaks from making videos, I usually like to come back with just a much smaller and more contained game. Just like, you know, a very short video that I can record within like a half hour. But the next video that I plan on recording is going to be a lot more substantial than this one. And as a matter of fact, I can already tell you that the next video is going to be a double feature. The double feature series is not dead just yet, and there is a very specific reason why the next video is going to be a double feature, though. But you'll be seeing that video fairly soon, and I am going to explain my reasoning for why it's a double feature when that video goes live. But for now, though, if you want to go and play Kentacho's very esoteric take on Breakout, is that even the right term? I don't know, if you want to play his very bizarre and unorthodox take on Breakout, then it's in the description. It's a free game that you can play from within your browser. I don't believe it's possible to download it onto your desktop though, because it's an HTML5 game. And the source code for the game is also available as well. I do believe that Kentacho made the source code for all of his browser-based games available. So if you want to dig into that and maybe mess around with it, then you absolutely can. That's another thing I like about Kentacho. He makes all of his projects open source, which honestly every indie developer should do. Anyway, going off on a tangent already, I'm just gonna end this video now, so, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video I make. Later!